The French Basque Country is culturally distinct from the rest of France. Located in the southwest, bordering Spain, the region is known for, among other things, its ham. Salted and air-cured in the age-old tradition and passed down through generations of Basque farmers. There are several types of traditional Basque ham. This one, called quintoa, is marbled with fat and has a deep, strong, fruity flavour. Its distinct taste and composition begins with a specific breed of pig, the Basque Country piebald, referring to the animal's mottled skin. This pig breed is native to the Basque region, where the livestock is raised on small farms in the valleys of the Pyrenees Mountains. Unlike commercially farmed animals, the sows have small litters of 6 to 9 piglets. These grow roaming and grazing along the vast mountainsides, where 30 piglets wander on about a hectare of land. As a result of this free-range rearing, they grow more slowly and become heavier than commercially farmed pigs. Once the animals reach a weight of about 150 kilograms, which usually takes a year to 15 months, they go to the slaughterhouse. Each carcass is then stamped with an identification number. Traditional ham is made from the hind legs. The first step is to weigh each numbered leg and tag it with a unique code. The code records the weight, the farm from which the animal came, the slaughter date, and when the carcass arrived here, at the processor. After the leg has been tagged, it's placed in a machine which brands the quintoa symbol into the flesh. Then dry salt is spread onto the exposed portion. The salt comes from the Salé de Béarn, a saltwater spring in a basin bordered by the Pyrenees Mountains, the Adour River and the Atlantic Ocean. The salted ham is then left in a cold, damp room for 1 day per kilogram, typically about 15 days per ham. The salt preserves the meat. Next, the ham undergoes a first dry curing. It hangs on a stainless steel rack in a temperature and humidity controlled room for 7 months. When it comes out of the room, it's lost about 20% of its original weight because most of the moisture has evaporated. After the surface is brushed, the exposed part of the ham is then coated with a special grease that the factory has made out of pig's kidney, rice flour and water. This grease prevents the surface from drying out and crusting during the second dry curing process. The ham now goes into a second drying room, which dries the ham in the open air, taking advantage of the geographic location. A warm southern wind from Spain and humid air from the Atlantic Ocean to the west blow into the room through windows. Nature does all the work. Humans merely regulate the airflow and humidity by raising or lowering the blinds. In this room, the ham hangs from a wooden rack rather than a stainless steel one. This is because wood absorbs excess humidity and transfers moisture to the meat if the air gets too dry. As the ham dries, its flavour concentrates. The charcutier, a pork butcher, inspects every ham carefully, pressing it all over to monitor the drying process. The ham is also checked to ensure no crust is developing. The ham is also pierced in order to smell its developing aroma. The wind that dries the ham carries pollen and other natural particles that give the ham a distinctive flavour and fragrance. The secret is slow curing until the ham reaches optimal maturity. This takes approximately 1 month per kilogram, so the ham remains in this second drying room for more than a year. When the cured ham is ready, it's seasoned with espelette pepper, a mildly hot pepper from the northern Basque country. This gives the ham a fragrance that's as appetizing as its taste. Honestly, I'm not telling porkies. The ancient Basque sport of pelota, or ILA, can be played with a paddle, a racket, just your hands, or with a specially made wicker scoop called a chistera. It helps propel a ball at lightning speed, making the sport one of the fastest ball games in the world. The chistera was an invention of the mid-19th century. Ever since then, making chisteras has been the domain of a few specialized artisans. This family-owned workshop and all the tools it contains for making chisteras has been passed on from father to son since 1887. In use for more than 100 years, these tools still work. The great-grandson of the workshop's founder starts the process with an old plane and clamping bench to shape a curved piece of chestnut. Next, while one end is clamped in a vise, the other end is rounded before wax is rubbed on to help fit a crosspiece. To prepare for the next phase, the surfaces are smoothed with a fine grit sandpaper. It's now time to create the substructure for the chistera. First, the frame is clamped onto a mould. The curve of the side ribs is checked and shaped using steam to bend the wood. Plaster has been used to patch the areas of the mould that have been worn by more than 100 years of constant use. Next are the bottom ribs, which are shaped and trimmed to length. Each chistera is completely bespoke and made to order for individual pelota players. This means each chistera will differ slightly to meet the needs of its owner, so care is taken to ensure all the dimensions are correct. Elastic strapping is attached to the mould to hold the ribs in place as they're fitted. The ribs give a chistera shape, but they're not strong enough by themselves. They need to be woven with wicker made from willow heartwood. In preparation, the wicker is shaved to the required dimensions using specialist tools. The chistera is then handed to the family's specialist in wickerwork. There are two different sizes of chistera. For a small one, it will take roughly 9 hours to weave. For a large one such as this, it takes about 14. In the game of pelota, the small, hard ball travels at incredible speeds. In fact, the Guinness Book of World Records reports a pelota ball clocked at 302 kilometers per hour. Here, a piece of leather padding designed to protect the player's hand from injury is rolled and sewn. Once made, the padding components are sewn onto the chistera. This leather work alone takes about 2 hours to complete. Next, the glove portion of the chistera is cut out of leather, after which slices are cut for the outlines of the individual fingers. True to form, even the sewing machine is an antique original. It may be old, but this machine can still do the job of sewing the leather to a layer of cloth, designed to absorb the player's sweat. To attach the glove to the wicker scoop, the old-fashioned method is employed, stitching the components together by hand. Next, any excess material is trimmed off before a hand is inserted to aid the attachment of the final piece, a handy loop. Preserving a tradition of handcrafted excellence, The finished Chistera is almost a work of art that helps make pelota one of the fastest games in the world. Just remember, keep your eye on the ball. And if you win, you can bask in glory.